Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm Kim. This is Kim's Wellness Space. I mainly hang out over on Instagram. Um, and yeah, I'm on a mission. My mission is that every single woman should feel wow with their wellness. I want you to be having wellness in abundance. And that's why I am here sharing on my podcast and why I have a YouTube channel, why I share what I do on Instagram, because I just want us all to feel amazing. So that's why we're here. So thank you very much for choosing the podcast, pressing play. And this week, this is a bit of a strange one. So this week, I want to talk about I'm going to start again. Have you heard the expression, um, where you focus your energy, then that's what grows? Okay. I don't think that's the exact quote actually, but you know what I mean. If you focus your energy on something, that's what comes. And it's quite interesting because when we talk about wellness, quite often the ladies that I work with, one of their top things is weight loss or fat loss. And when we chat, we go through all sorts of things because I like to have a picture of everything of their overall wellness. So there's lots of layers, as we know. But one of the things that is fascinating is that they are hyper focused on the weight loss because that's their ultimate goal. And so they've really focused in on it, but they've focused in on it to the point that they're not really concentrating actually on their wellness. They're only concentrating on fat loss, and the fat loss isn't happening. And so my suggestion always is let's just take that fat loss and just pop it to one side for a moment. And actually, let's come back and let's concentrate on your wellness as a whole. And I know that that's your ultimate goal, but let's concentrate on how we're looking after ourselves in general across the board of wellness. And it's usually women are we're quite resistant, aren't we? Let's face it. You know, we think we know, even when things don't work and we're struggling, we can still be a bit like, no, I'm not doing that because actually I want to lose weight. So why are you telling me to stop thinking about it? I don't want to. But in my experience, and from the ladies that I've worked with, and you know, even myself, doing my own personal project, as soon as we just take that out of the equation and just leave it over there and then concentrate on actually our well-being and what we're doing for ourselves, we lose weight. It's interesting, isn't it? And I think that this is because when we're really hyper focused on that weight loss, we're not actually taking care of ourselves. And we become really obsessed with, well, I've only lost a pound this week, or this month I've only lost a pound. And well, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You know, we are in a world where we expect things to happen quickly. And we are in a world where we put in the least amount of effort and we get big results. And you can't really do that with your wellness. It's not something you can rush. It's not something that you can, I mean, absolutely, you can go on a crash diet for 6 weeks and see a big weight loss. But we all know that that doesn't work. We all know that that's not sustainable. We all know that then people go back to normal eating and the weight comes back on and probably a little bit more. And that's not good for us. That's not good for us at all. There's no wellness there. That's you know, that's something completely different. So what could we concentrate on instead? What could we, if we're not focusing, not being hyper focused on our weight loss, what can we focus on? Well, we can focus on our sleep. How much sleep are we getting? Do we feel rested when we wake up in the morning? Do we get up at the same time every day? Are we sleeping all the way through the night, or are we having broken sleep? Like, so all of these things are really important. And once you start asking those questions, you may be able to notice, oh, well, actually, I don't get up at the same time every day, and I don't sleep all the way through the night. And no, actually, some mornings I wake up and I'm knackered. And so, why is that? And is there something that you can do to rectify that? Absolutely, there is. Absolutely, there is. So, that's one area we can look at. Then we can look at our hydration. How much water are we drinking? Are we drinking any water? I was reading a really, well, I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it amused me. I was reading a post on Instagram the other day saying, oh my goodness, all these people telling us to drink water, too much water is bad for you. I would say 100% of all the people that I've worked with don't drink enough water. And I'm not saying that because they're not drinking 5 litres of water a day. I'm saying that because they barely have a cup of water. Excuse me. They'll say to me things like, "Oh, but I have probably 15 cups of tea." Well, that's brilliant because that is something going in, but it's not water. So have your 15 cups of tea, but drink some water as well. Squash is okay if it's sugar-free. I would probably let you have that without, picking you up too much. But, most people, if you say to them, how much water? They go, oh, I drink loads of water, loads of water. Well, how much? How much is loads of water? How much do you drink? Oh, well, I don't really know. And when do you drink your first cup of water? Is it the first thing you drink every day? Usually, no. Oh no, I like my cup of tea in the morning, or no, I don't function without a coffee. When really, the first thing we should be doing when we wake up in the morning is drinking a glass of water before we hit the tea, before we hit the coffee. So that's another area that we can look at. Then we can look at movement. How much movement are we doing? I was speaking to a lady last week who actually was really nailing her step goal every day. Well, she didn't actually have a goal because she was frightened of making a goal because she didn't want to fail. And she didn't think that she would be able to hit it. But actually, when we looked, she was hitting it every single day. But she didn't know. And actually, she had a very sedentary job because it was an admin job. She was sitting at her desk all day, and she openly admitted that she didn't really move from her chair once she was there. She had her lunch at her desk. So in her case, she was doing a lot of steps, but quite often, you could get through the whole day and only done about 2,000 steps. So I'm not saying that you have to walk 10,000 steps every day because you don't, but you do need to be aware of what you're doing. And then if it's not very much, maybe up it a little bit. You can build it. You can put the target steps at 7,000, 8,000. So that's another area we can look at. Then are you lifting weights? Are you doing yoga? Are you going to Pilates? Are you doing dance classes? Do you do aerobics? Do you do HIIT training? What one of those do you do, if anything? How often are you doing it? And then we can look at nutrition. Are you getting in that fruit and vegetables so that your fiber is really good? Are you eating any protein? I'm not saying that you have to nail 100 grams of protein every day, but some people eat very small amounts of protein. So maybe a little increase of that would do you good. We actually have a friend who doesn't eat vegetables. He eats 4. He eats potatoes, onions, carrots, and peas, and that is it. But at least he's getting 4 in. There are some people that don't even eat that many. He doesn't eat any fruit, so could probably benefit from eating a little bit more fruit. So it's all of those things that we can look at. And then I want to just précis this by saying, when you've looked at all of those areas, if you think that you need to improve or you need to change, probably is a better word, something in every single one of those areas, please don't do it all at once. Please just pick one thing and then work your way along that one subject. So say, like, start with sleep. If you think, oh, actually everything needs attention. I've not really been looking after myself very well. Start with sleep. Sleep is so good for us, and we feel better, we function better, we make better choices when we've had a good night's sleep. So you don't have to start with sleep, but I would say it's a good place to start. And do it for a few months. And then, hello, Molly. Once you feel better in that area and you think that you're doing well, then, sorry, my dog's just joined me. I forgot to close the door. And then you can move to another area. So, say, going outside for a walk, because if you're doing the going outside for a walk, you'll get out in nature, you're getting natural light in your face, on your eyes. That's all really good for you. Do that for a couple of months. So then you've got your sleep coming along better, you're getting your sunlight, your movement with your steps, and then so you could take a whole year or maybe even longer getting all of these little things in place, small changes, tweaking as you go, making sure that you don't lose track of one because you're concentrating on the other, but we're building them up. And it can take longer than that. I'm not saying you have to nail each one in a month and move on. Maybe you want to spend 3 months getting your sleep right. It's completely up to you. But once you've kind of got in that pattern and you feel like you're making better choices and you feel like your wellness is better and you are taking care of your wellness, then you could come back to look at the weight loss. And then you'll probably find that your weight has changed because you're putting so much effort into looking after yourself. You're living a life of wellness. And this is what we want. We want a life of wellness. We want abundance in wellness. We want to be health. We want to embody that. We want that to be who you are every day so that you don't have to put loads of thought into it. It's just natural for you to do it. And you feel so good, you want to do it again and again and again. And when you do that, when you put all those things into practice, the weight changes and you'll get your fat loss. And then you'll be like, oh, I haven't thought about that for 6 months. And actually, my clothes have started to feel looser, or I don't have to breathe in so much, and I'm doing my jeans up, or that skirt that I haven't been able to do up, it does up now. Like, we don't need to use the scales as evidence that our body is changing. You can if you want to. You don't have to. The scales are because we're talking about weight loss. I will talk about the scales for a minute. The scales are good data collection point as is part of a bigger picture. If you are only jumping on the scales very randomly here and there, using no other data points, you're not actually going to get a true picture of what's going on with your body, and probably it will be detrimental to how you feel you're doing within your wellness and within your weight loss, because our bodies fluctuate all the time for many different reasons, and they can fluctuate loads. In fact, if you've done a whole week where you haven't really slept very well, your weight can go up by 5 pounds. So, if you've had a week with no sleep or really broken sleep, and then on Saturday morning you get up and think, oh, I went away myself this morning, like, you could be like looking at a number that you don't recognize, you don't understand why it's there. You won't be thinking to yourself, oh yeah, I had a rubbish week of sleep, that's why it's gone up, I'm not going to take any notice. I definitely know that you'll be thinking other things, and we don't want you to do that. So if you can measure your weight loss in other ways, so maybe you take measurements of your body, maybe you take photographs, or maybe you, like I say, you just have a skirt that you want to get into and you can try it on every now and again until it fits, that's brilliant. If you're someone that likes numbers, you like data, and you like collecting things so that you can understand the whole picture, I would highly recommend that you stand on the scales every day and track it every single day, because then you'll get used to seeing that the weight fluctuates and then it comes back down, and maybe you're having a period so it'll go back up, or maybe you've been out for a weekend and you've had salty food and alcohol and then it will go up. Maybe you had a week with not much sleep and it might go up. On the flip side, before you get a whoosh and it comes down, it always goes up a little bit and then it comes down. But you will start to see the pattern, and then you'll start to understand your body. If that is if you're a person that can do that and you can be objective from what you're looking at and not allow that number to upset you for the rest of the day, then that is a really good way of collecting data and understanding your body. I would say that with that data collection, you should really be at a minimum taking measurements of your body as well. But ideally taking measurements and photographs. So the three things together are a good amount of information that you can have a look, so that on the days that maybe you are, whether they have gone up a bit, and you can look at the other data and you can see that you look exactly the same. Your measurements haven't changed at all. It's just that it's fluctuated up. And because you're trusting the process, that it will come back down. And why are you trusting the process? Because you are absolutely nailing all of the layers of your wellness. You're getting good sleep, you're hydrated, you're eating nutritious food, you're moving your body, you're getting outside, you're doing all of that good stuff that is making you feel amazing. So then that you can keep on going. You can trust that process and you can keep going. So that's a lot of information that I've shared today on this podcast. I hope that all makes sense. I hope I haven't overwhelmed you with too much information. What I want to leave you with is, if you have been trying really, really hard to lose weight and it's not happening, try and see if you can put that to one side and have a look at your wellness as a whole, your well-being. What are you doing for you to, excuse my dogs, I'm sorry if you can hear them. Just have a look at your overall wellness. Are you looking at all of those different areas? And if you think something's a little bit off and it needs attention, then put your focus and your energy into those things, and then maybe come back to the weight loss in a couple of months. So I really hope that's made sense. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, if you want any support, I do have coaching spaces at the moment. I also offer my wellness audit, which is such a good power hour on Zoom. I can't even tell you, the results from that are brilliant. So yeah, come find me on Instagram. Let's chat. Just come into my DMs. I love talking to people about things like this. If I can help you, I absolutely will. And there's loads of free stuff that I do over there that would help you as well. So please come over and say hi. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will speak to you very, very soon.